today we got to play Command of Nature. Now, this game is really pretty. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about Command of Nature?
I can. So this is a 2024 release. This is the Kickstarter All-In Edition. It includes the Sand and Wind expansion, which is over here, which just basically adds 2 more factions. It comes with 4 factions in the base game, so you get a total of 6 factions. It has a Board Game Geek rating currently of 8.1 and a rank of 12,425. It is a 2 or 4 player game, 30 to 60 minutes average length, and age is 10 up. I can see that. I don't think it's that heavy of a game as long as your child doesn't have an issue with getting pieces destroyed.
Yeah, I think this is a very beginner-friendly deck builder. Like, this is a good intro.
Not just deck builder, like a Magic the Gathering style.
Yeah, like this is
combat.
That's kind of what I was talking about because I think about, in the past when I've played stuff, like having to worry about mana, and there's some other things you don't have to necessarily worry about that resource management piece in this one, and that kind of actually works in your favor, and then you're building as you go. So I think this lends very much to someone that doesn't really have that versus going against each other kind of combat thing, and I think it's really great. 10-year-olds is very appropriate.
Yeah. It's designed by Remy Batty. Art is also by Remy Batty. It's published by Unstable Games, but it's in conjunction with Tea Turtle, and that's where I think the art comes from. It definitely looks just like the Tea Turtle.
Okay,
shirts.
So I was loving on it. I was like, "Randy, this stuff's so cute. I love it so much." And then he's like, "Hey, did you know?" And I was like, "That's why I dig me some Tea Turtle t-shirts all the time." So now I know why.
So the all-in on the Kickstarter, if you were able to get in during the campaign, is $149, which is not bad at all for this.
No.
What you get.
No.
There's someone scalping it on the Board Game Geek market for $225. That's the all-in edition too. The standard Kickstarter, just the base Command of Nature game, is like $35 on the Kickstarter. I'm seeing prices similar to that on Board Game Geek Market, although somebody's trying to sell that for $75 too, but there's people selling it much more reasonably. Retail version, which I don't know what the differences are there. I know what's in the expanded collector's edition. We should go through it in a little bit when we get to quality, but there's some pieces that look like they're really nice that you don't actually use because of these nice miniatures that they've replaced them with. But the standees are really nicely done. The best standees I've ever seen. I don't know if those are part of the retail or not. There's cardboard pieces that were not being used. I'm sure that's part of the retail. So the retail looks like it is $22.50 on pre-order from Boardlandia, $24.99 from Atomic Empire, and then one I've never seen before, Tabletop.shop, has it for pre-order for $11.19, which seems a little sketchy. If you've had ordered from them in the past, let me know, because I would love to know who they are. I've never seen that company before, and for them to come in at half the price of everybody else, it looks a little fishy.
Yes.
So that's really the rundown on the pricing that's out there, and like I said, $150 for the Kickstarter I don't think is bad. Even the $225 that's being scalped at isn't horrible.
That's how good this stuff is. All right, let's talk about quality components. Can we talk about these miniatures, please? Just for a second. Like, these, all of them.
There's 6 miniatures, and they're very detailed, and they're all multicolored. They have see-through components to them, like this one's the wind, and it's got this tornado going around him. You've got the water one. They're just beautiful.
These are gorgeous. And the thing is Randy's like, pick one, and I'm like, how do you expect me to pick one? This is not okay.
Yep, these are just beautiful.
So for that front, what purpose do they have in the game, Miranda? I don't know.
No, they just sit there. They just sit there on your board. But they also come with shiny cards to go with them.
The holographic.
These replace they're standard cards of them, but you don't even need, because once you get these shiny ones out, you won't need them.
Yeah. Don't know what use they have. Don't care. Love them. I will be using it in whatever capacity I can. So there's that piece. You do get, okay, so this is my one pet peeve about this game.
Yeah, mine too.
All right. So the resources. You have these beautiful gold coins. Yes, yes. One side is 1. One side is 3. I know.
Not painted, no differentiation, so you're easily going to flip those over and have them be 1 and 3. All the tokens have 1 on one side, 3 on the other.
So that's
but those
fine.
are not too bad. But the coins, that's just a bad idea.
I was not okay with the coins.
So
well,
I used
and
my
for a little
chips.
kid, I mean,
yeah,
no. I just used them as ones. Randy ended up just using his poker chips, which is really sad because I really liked the coins. I'm just sad that they've got, like, that's confusing.
Yeah, they should have had 2 different denominations, like
Yeah.
a silver and a gold or something.
Right. And that would have been fun. They could have, yes. So that is really my only critique, because this stuff's beautiful. You've got these back, like, they come with the sleeves. Everything's just so gorgeous.
The player mats, you have 1 per faction, and then there's 1 to hold the cards for, like, the market.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got the player board itself.
Yeah, and it folds over into a little booklet. It has
really
all
cute.
the actions on it, so it's got your kind of your cheat sheet for you. Yeah, this is just all top notch. Everything about it. All of the boxes have like a kind of a holographic finish on them. I mean, they went all out when they said all in. They meant all in this game. Plus, it came with like a set of stickers, and it came with a pin, like an enamel pin for.
And those stickers are coming to me.
Yeah, I figured the pin's going to you too, but it's got like a bird in it, and I guess they planted trees for all the sales that they made on this. For some percentage went to planting trees. So, just everything about this campaign was great. Even with the coins, and there's another thing, which I'll get to when we talk about theme, I still think this is a 10 as far as the component quality.
Really, I'm going to give it a 9.5 because of the coins. That's really bothersome and almost makes it unplayable, but everything else is so beautiful and so perfect. I'm at a 9.5. Alright, so moving on to the theme. We kind of already touched about it because T-Turtle did the art, and I love T-Turtle art, so it is so cute. This is just, it's beautiful. It's so cutesy. I want to be in this world, okay? And I'm willing to go on the journey with you. And okay, so does it affect gameplay? I mean,
well, they do have in the book kind of a little backstory. It's not much. It just says, glory awaits the master of the elements. Harness the magic of the forest and go head-to-head with rival sages in this strategic deck-building game from the creators of Here to Slay and Casting Shadows. We also have Here to Slay. We haven't played that yet. I've heard good things about it. Summon elemental warriors from the Pebble, Droplet, Twig, and Leaf factions in Inner Combat, which that's just the 4 in the base game. There's additional ones.
So like Water's about drawing cards and going through your deck, where yours was kind of like buffing your...
Yeah, mine was all about pumping things up and putting shield tokens on them.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty common in different versus games, and so I think that was adequate. Does the theme really have to do with, you're going against each other? No, but it's pretty and I like it, so I don't care.
Yeah. Well, it's good because while these cute animals are holding weapons, there's no gore, there's no blood, it's not attacking.
So this is very good for kids.
I mean, you are attacking each other, but it doesn't look violent, and it's so cute. Your kids are going to just fall in love with the characters. It's not going to matter that, that they have these weapons on them.
No, I mean, because even then, it's like, okay, yeah, they're not very, like, the spear for the Leafs is a leaf. Like, it's not, they did a really great job with this. Theme-wise, I love the art so much. What are you scoring it?
Well, the one thing I'm going to ding here on it is the decks themselves, like all the different faction decks, there's nothing. The border for the cards that you actually put in play have your faction symbols. So I've got leaves on mine, and they have a star in the corner to differentiate them from the ones in the market. But all of your attack and all of the standard cards that would be, in essence, part of the market deck, where you get there's instant cards, defense cards, and or whatever they are, and no, ritual cards, I should say. The instant cards, ritual cards, and attack cards. Those, there's no differentiation on them. So if you get your deck mixed up when you go to put it away, you're not going to have.
Well, you just know how many
the right
stars.
mix of
I mean,
cards.
you pull out all the star ones, and then you say, okay, what's this deck supposed to have? I'm sure they have a list of what each deck
I
is
didn't
supposed to
see
have.
one. And that's where I'm saying there should have been something to indicate this is a starter card for
They
this
have
faction.
the starter, but not the faction.
Yeah, well, they're all part of the starter kit, though. So you have to make sure you keep them together and separate, because like this is meant to be a 2-on-2 game too, where you're playing partners. And
But if you discard, you know you're going to discard.
But if you're playing with a partner, your cards could easily get mixed up.
Oh.
So that's where the one thing I didn't like about it is.
But that's not theme related.
Well, what are you going to put it under? I mean,
that's gameplay.
Okay, whatever. I'm throwing it in here because that's the art of the card. But yeah, I think personally that's the only grievance I've got with this. Other than that, it would be a 10 for me. I'm going to give it a 9.5 here.
I don't care. I'm giving it a 10.
So reversing on this one.
All right. So moving on to the actual rule book. Randy, how was it?
Well, it's 28 pages long. It's got it's a small book because it has to fit in the small box, and it's real easy. It's got a lot of art in it. First of all, so some of the pages are just pure art. I mean, I'm
not mad about that.
No, so it's not really full 28 pages even. I will say I fell asleep reading it because I was so tired. So it has nothing to do with the book. It's it is cute.
To be fair, he decided to read rules in bed. I mean, what's the expectation here?
So yeah, I mean, it shows you how everything sets up really easily, and it's got the instructions on how everything works as far as the gameplay, which is what you would expect. It's got how the 2-player versus the 4-player game would work. It's it's listed on Board Game Geek as 2 to 4-player, but I don't see anywhere in here where it mentions how you would play with 3 players. It's basically 2 and 4. And I mean, I guess 1 player could play 2 factions and split them up, but
well, no, you could do a triangle. It'd be rough.
Yeah, no, it shows only 2 setups, 2 and 4-player setup.
Oh well, then I don't know how to.
Yeah, you would have to play 2.
It must be 2 or 4.
Yeah, it's 2 or 4. It's got all the phases. There was when we played, we had a few different things we had confusion on, but they were in the rule book. It was on our side interpreting. It wasn't on the book's fault. So I think the book does a good job. There was one question I did have to look up on Board Game Geek, and that was whether the red cards, the basically instant response cards, if you will, from attacks, if you could return the attack if somebody did one that actually did damage to you. It doesn't actually say attack on the red card, so we found clarification online on Board Game Geek that no.
If you're the primary player, you can't play red.
It only responds to an attack card, so you can't play a red in response to a red unless it specifically says so. I did have one that did do that.
Yeah, so that was clear.
So so that was really the only thing we had to look up online. So yeah, all of this, I think the rulebook does a good job. Plus it has a QR code on the back. It teaches you the game if you don't like to read the books. So I'll go ahead and give this a 9. I think it does a good job.
Alright, so we're moving up to gameplay. So you're going to end up having 5 cards in your hand at the beginning of the turn.
And you're going to have a pyramid of characters already in play.
Yeah, we'll add me some characters because that was kind of light.
It's because I was killing your characters off while you were
But
killing my boss off.
But I did win. That's all that matters. Alright, so I'm going to have 5 cards in my hand. Now, I'm going to get 4 actions every single round. Now, those 4 actions will consist, at the start of the game, these right here, which is summon an elemental from your hand to your formation. So that means basically laying down a card, playing a command from your hand. So you'll notice that you'll have different spells or commands in your deck that you'll be able to play. Like, woohoo, as I throw cards around. Far Strike. So basically this is an arrow, so one of my guys can attack his. And so on and so forth. And then swap the positions of 2 connected elements in your... Elementals in your formation. So, for example, if you don't want a certain guy in, you want him to move, you can easily do that. In case you're trying to... Maybe when you finally get your boss, maybe he went up forward and you want to move him back because it's a little dangerous out there. Which is totally possible. And then drawing a card from your deck in case you run out of cards because you had a massive defense hand and you played all that and then you were kind of out of cards to play. So there is that piece. Alright, so with 4 cards in my hand, or with 4 actions to do, I'm going to seriously attack this round because that looks like fun. Alright. I'm going to do a classical strike. I'm going to do 2 damage to Randy. Now, his person right here actually has 5 health. So, are you going to do anything,
I am.
Randy?
I'm going to play a Leaf Charm, which then does 1 damage back to your attacking elemental.
Okay. So he's going to give me 1 damage. He likes me. Actually, if he doesn't like me, that's the whole point.
Well, I do like you. It's just in the game, I'm going to slaughter you.
Yeah, okay. You can pretend that all you want. Alright, then I'm going to do a Far Strike. So this allows me to attack 2 away. So I'm going to actually do 2 damage to here. Can you do anything about that?
Well, I could if I had that card in my hand, but no, I can't. So
okay.
2 damage, but he's got 6 health.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep chugging along. And then I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to go against your boost guy, just because I can. Alright, now ideally, you do actually want to kill something, so I could have ended up choosing to kill something, which is probably what you should have done. But I was just kind of showing you an example of how that all works.
This has actually a leveling up system, so as you, up to level 8, as you go up, you will unlock additional abilities that you can use once per turn. Now, you can only use 1 of the special abilities per turn. That's one of the things we kind of got wrong early on.
Yeah, I thought so, and I asked for clarification.
Yeah. So these, it's the whole list. You can only do 1 of them per turn. So the last one you get is extremely damaging because it's on yours.
Yeah, it allows you to directly target.
Yeah, it lets you
boss.
directly target the boss, and that's the one thing I didn't like about this game. Is I understand why they probably did it to expedite the game because I kept chugging through. I don't know how many of your characters I destroyed, but then you kept spawning more, and then it was going to last for a long time otherwise.
Yeah.
But once you unlock stuff like that, or there's cards that actually let you do it too. If you get those cards, you can just basically bypass all of the other characters. And I
think that's the only way to do it, though. Really, I mean.
Well, yeah, but I just don't like that. What's the point of fighting other than to level up to unlock it? If you can just bypass everything and defeat the other person, and then that one card, the ritual, that just lets you do it early on. It's like if you get that
you gotta
early,
have the money to do it. Well, the key. Well, it's only through a row. You move up your guy to the second row. Now, I think the thing to understand is most of dueling games they actually can be quite quick, and so that's something that we don't really play too many quick games unless we kind of know that going in. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh no, I play versus all the time, but
this was starting to feel a little long, and that's where I was like, I'm like, oh wait, this is what you're supposed to do. Okay, that makes more sense. So I think when you put that into perspective, I think that's just part of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing I didn't care for because mine was all about powering through your characters, and I was crunching through them pretty good. I had you down to only a handful of characters left.
Mm-hmm. It was looking kind of shady, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking good. But yeah, I mean that's part of it, right? I was hitting your back, your main guy throughout for the last couple rounds. But then maybe that's why I didn't power through some of your guys' because those actions could have been went to actually kill some of your guys. So with that being said, overall, I actually liked it. I think it's a little cool versus game. This tells my age. I was there when Pokemon first came out, and that, to me, this is it reminds me a little bit of that, and the fact that it's a versus game, and you've got these really cute characters that are elemental based. But the play is very, very different. And the fact that you don't have to manage mana. and your attacks, you're not tapping a character. So like if you have multiple attack cards, that same character can attack multiple times. So that's a little bit different as well. That you typically don't see, because in a lot of these, once you use them, you've used them. That's not the case. I mean, the action cards are that way, but not your so it's they switched it up, and I kind of liked it. What are your thoughts?
I'm still amazed by you saying that your age was being told by the fact that you were there when Pokemon came. When I was there, when they first moved away from baseball cards to actually doing the Star Wars movie cards, and that was really cool. And you always wanted to get a pack where the gum didn't mess up the back of your cards. That was what when where I come from. So you saying you're how old you are because of Pokemon? I mean, I was decades before Pokemon.
Listen, Pokemon came out. I became one of the first young gym leaders. Okay. Yep. At the Hastings had a Pokemon club that you went and you fought every Saturday. I was there. I'm not gonna lie to nobody.
No, I think this game is cuter than it is. The gameplay is less strong than the actual cuteness factor of the game.
This is supposed to be an introductory beginning level versus game, and if you take that into mind, I love it. I think it's adorable.
I think it's definitely something we'll play with Sarah.
Absolutely, I think this. I mean, I think there's a special niche for this, and I like it a lot because of that special niche. And on a weekend that's just us, am I going to pull this out? Probably not. But if it's me and Sarah hanging out trying to pull something, I totally would in a heartbeat. And it's really cute. And I just want to play with the figures. I'm not going to lie. Score it.
I'll probably give it a 7 because of that. I don't, I personally, I think it would be better if they didn't have the way of bypassing the characters, which I understand why they did it. I just don't like it. But apart from that, I think it's a game that's going to entertain Sarah. I think it's a good family game to play. I think it's easier to pick up than your Pokemon even. So
I do. I agree. It's
Sarah
easier.
got into Pokemon cards and she never did anything with them because she never could figure it out. And
we never sat down and
I don't know how to play Pokemon. I don't Versus.
I long.
Well, I play Versus. That's what I play. But as far as this game, I think we could sit down and easily teach her this, and it's not something that's going to be over her head.
Yeah, because the problem I had with Pokemon is now that there's so many cards. So she bought a deck, and I was like, I don't know any of these Pokemon. I was like, and then I went to go look, and I was like, oh, can I go buy me just one of the old sets so I could just teach her with what I knew, and then we could add in stuff. The cost for that was a no-go. Because turns out that's kind of expensive.
Well, I mean, that's what's nice about this is it's one and done. You're not buying, you're not paying to win, which is one of the problems with a lot of those collectible card games, is you're basically paying to get the rare cards so you can win the game. And that's what I've always had a problem with about those games.
So that's one of the things that I actually like about it, is because the deck building happens during gameplay and not prior to. Because you are right, there is a bit of a pay to play. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely fun making up your deck, trying to figure it all out. But there is a little bit of, that's a little bit harder on the younger kids to also really get into, because they just want to play a game, right? And so for me, I really like that. I'm going to give it a little bit higher than you. I'm going to give it a 7.5. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast tonight. Hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.